Alright guys, the homie Cannon dropped another video about the classes and weapons. I'm not really sure what I want to play in beta, so we're going to go ahead and watch this one and hopefully come to a conclusion here. Let's get going.
There are 3 classes that you could choose from in the upcoming beta test for Chrono Odyssey: Swordsman, the Ranger, and the Berserker. After having leveled all of them, I'm going to be giving you guys my review in this video along with the weapons that come with the classes. Unfortunately, the Paladin, Assassin, and Sorcerer will not be available, and quite frankly, we're probably going to be going through a lot of changes until they're actually publicly playable, so I'll be covering those classes when they're ready. Okay, so before we begin, let's take a quick look at the skill tree so we can get a general understanding of what's going on here. In Chrono Odyssey, every class will have
Okay, so we get to see the skill trees. That's awesome, because we haven't really seen the skill trees
access
yet.
to 3 weapons unique to its class. You'll be able to choose 2 out of the 3. Each weapon will have its own skill tree, and all the skill trees are laid out in the same way. The left side of the tree indicated by the subtle red highlight, the right side of the tree indicated by the subtle blue highlight, then the center, which doesn't have a color. The skill furthest from the center in each of the respective red and blue lanes is generally your lower cooldown or resource consuming base skill for that lane. The rest of the abilities in that lane are generally, but not always, synergistic to each other, and the lower you go down in that tree or lane, generally the more powerful the abilities are. The more powerful abilities
generally
will
how
also
those trees
require
work.
a minimum amount of points in the respective lane in order to unlock. Middle lane generally consists of buffs, passives, and enhancements to your basic attack, LMB, and special move, RMB. Each
Special
middle
move.
lane will have one synergy skill. Unlocking this synergy skill allows you to choose one of 2 options that are attached to it. Also, you can mix and match abilities, and you are not locked into a specific lane. You may choose skills from all lanes if you want to. And finally, you have mastery abilities, which are unlocked by reaching certain levels. We're only going to be seeing one active skill you can put on your bar, which unlocks at level 15 during our beta test when it comes to the mastery abilities. So we're not going to really talk about these in
Yeah, I think he mentioned somewhere that level 15 is supposed to be the cap for beta. So, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
the video. By the way, the level 10 and 20 mastery abilities are passives. Now that we understand how the skills are structured for each class, the only thing left to know is
Wait, Boba Jenny, Honen's 19, so maybe it's 20 or something then.
that in Chrono Odyssey, you have a resource bar and a stamina bar. Pretty simple here. The resource bar is your general builder versus spender system, where some abilities build, some abilities spend, with the spender abilities generally dealing more damage. The
Right.
stamina is also pretty straightforward. Like every other game, you'll be spending this when you dodge, roll, or use certain movement-based abilities. Oh,
Okay,
and there is
so-
one more thing. Every weapon has a 3-part basic attack chain, your left mouse button.
Yeah.
Now, with that out the way, let's get into the actual classes. First, we have the Swordsman. As a swordsman,
So yeah, instead of like, some games have like charges for dodge rolls, this one has a stamina system. I wonder like how much you can increase and decrease that.
your options are Greatsword, Sword and Shield, which we'll be referring to as SNS, and Dual Blades. Starting with the Greatsword, this is your slower, burstier, high stagger damage weapon, and you will absolutely
damage,
feel
okay.
the weight of the weapon, both when swinging it and when landing it. With Greatsword, you'll have options synergizing with bleed effects to deal more damage, or even super armor and damage reduction effects to allow you to be a lot more in your face with the enemy. I would mention that it's got some solid CC attached to it with a pretty badass grab ability, but to be fair, every class, especially melee, has
that's the
access
grab
to a
ability,
good
okay.
amount of CCs. Greatsword's special move, its RMB, right mouse button, is a charged attack that builds your resource bar. For Swordsman, that resource is called Rage. This ability can be charged up to 3 times, which not only gives you more resource or rage, but also allows you to perform an extra 360-degree swinging attack before slamming it on the ground.
Okay, that seems
You
nice.
can also move nearly full speed while charging this ability. Greatsword is a weapon that really did deliver on what you'd expect a greatsword to be. One of the biggest pros for greatsword, in my opinion, is that some of the hitboxes are very large and just feel good to use and land. It'll be really interesting to see how this weapon scales endgame, because it's pretty clear that it's designed to be a more burstier weapon, but I really wasn't seeing the big burst damage early on in the game yet. It's definitely behind dual blades in terms of overall damage output, at least for now. Dual blades is the next option for swordsman players, and this is a weapon that was really popular during the beta test. Simply put, this weapon is the highest DPS weapon for the swordsman class. It's a faster pace, multi-hit weapon that synergizes really well with crit. Along with its damage, you have blocks, which is its special move, by the way, a parry, cooldown reductions, and even gap closing potential. Where it lacks, though, is its stagger damage and CC output. All the melee weapons, it has the least amount of CC, but hey, that's what other weapons are for, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering like how important stagger damage is going to be, because it seems like for like some of the bosses it's probably going to be really important.
These types of weapons for tanking would be out of the question, but in this case, dual blades also come equipped with some nice threat generating ability to synergize with sword and shield as well. Easily the best combination for tanks right now. Oh, and it also has threat reducing capability for those who are trying to just pump damage. In my experience with MMOs, every class that has abilities that reduce threat, it usually means they pump damage. Dual blades along with greatsword was my first weapon selection. If you're into the dual blade archetype, I would highly recommend trying out dual blades, because the weapon just feels good to use. Flashy animations, faster attacks, more numbers. It just feels like you can pump damage, and you can pump damage. I mean, one of the passives has you literally deal
I wonder what this like what is he doing here? Like, what is this because he just keeps spawning these dudes over and over. I guess you can just like farm these guys infinitely.
100% more damage on crits. I absolutely loved the faster pace, more offensive onslaught style play the dual blades provided. Sword and Shield is next, and SNS is exactly what you'd expect it to be. SNS is a tanking weapon that allows you to be on the front line and, well, tank, or be a menace in PvP. In Chrono, SNS offers the standard tanking stuff. Damage reduction, stamina resource gains via blocking, buffs, control, you know, the regular stuff. It even comes with self-healing elements and an oh shit button allowing you to become invulnerable. The special move for SNS is the block, which significantly reduces incoming damage and generates resource or rage when blocking incoming attacks at the cost of stamina. This, of course, can be enhanced via other skills and passives, but at a base, this is what blocking does. You can also time the block, so essentially parry attacks, giving you a counter-attack knockdown retaliation. That
seems so fun. Like, so I've kind of been thinking I was gonna go Ranger, but after seeing a lot of these new videos that came out in the past week, and seeing a lot more Swordsman and Berserker action, they're looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
PvP heads out there, in case you're wondering, blocking attacks in Chrono mean you also block CCs. For example, you can't get Greatsword grabbed if you block it. At the end of the day, SNS is for sure a tanking weapon, and my recommendation is to pair it with dual blades, at least for now. There's a lot of synergy between the two, on top of the fact that dual blades can deal some really solid damage. Overall, I think if you're into the general SNS tank role, this weapon will definitely satisfy that. Next, we have the Ranger. As a Ranger, your options are bow, crossbow, and rapier.
Oh, she's an elf?
Being the only melee weapon of the three.
Before.
The bow in Chrono was probably the most lackluster weapon in the...
Dude, why? I love bows, man.
The entire beta test. A lot of players were really sold on certain weapons, but the bow was not one of them. There is some potential with the bow for sure, but I think it mainly comes from a scaling issue. It's pretty clear that the bow is designed to be slower and harder hitting. The damage actually does start to pick up towards the end of the beta, but the overall damage difference and attack speed this early in the game doesn't really give you the best experience. Again, I want to reiterate that I think the bow being lackluster in the beta is because it's early game. I would be shocked if it continued to feel bad end game. With that said, the bow has a good mix of single target and AoE abilities. The special move for bow is a zoomed in aim shot that has a limited amount of arrows that you can shoot at a time. These arrows do have an individual cooldown and are tied to an element of your choosing. Holding down the Alt button gives you the option to select a type of element that your arrow or attack will be.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
This element also affects a lot of your skills. Each element has a different effect to it. For example, an explosive arrow applies a delayed AoE explosion, and flaming arrow applies a burn. Keep in mind, the bow is a weapon you have to actually aim with and does consume resource or vigor, as it's called for ranger, even for your basic attacks.
Okay.
Also, it's not the fastest weapon, at least in the early game. If you're looking for speed, that would be the next weapon on the list.
Wait. I want to know what the max range on the bow is. Like, he's all up close and stuff. I want to see some, like, long-range snipes.
The crossbow.
Dang.
Crossbow is your more mobile, higher sustain-based DPS weapon. In its current state, basic attack is very strong, mainly because you can spam it and increase your damage by hitting the head if you're good. Keep in mind, however, like the bow, the basic attack does consume your resource bar. The basic attack being strong and relatively spammed doesn't mean the skills that come with the crossbow suck. You have some really nice damaging skills along with very solid mobility thanks to its special move, which allows you to somersault in any given direction, allowing you to not only
that's cool.
dodge damage but also deal damage while somersaulting.
Okay, that is so
Crossbows
sick.
also synergize very well with crit and or poison. Of course, you can dip into both if you choose, but generally speaking, you can either go for the higher raw damage via crit or build into more of a dot-focused DPS build. Dots, by the way, as far as we've seen, very strong in PvP, ninja strong. Overall, the crossbow is easily the strongest solo weapon in the game at this stage, simply because it allows you to clear a lot of fights earlier, mainly because you can just kite and spam your basic attack. To put things into perspective, this weapon has actually already been nerfed twice. The somersault used to be a complete iframe, and now it's just
Imagine. Oh my god, imagine that's a complete
an
iframe.
iframe at the very top. Not even sure if it is technically an iframe at the very top. It could just be that you're so high in the air, you're dodging the attack completely. And the basic attacks never consumed any vigor. Even post-nerf, however, it's still the strongest solo weapon, so don't be discouraged when your crossbow friends are able to clear the first void gate at level 3, while your melee ass struggles at level 8. The final weapon for the ranger is the rapier, and man, this is a fun weapon. Rapier actually has the highest DPS of the three weapons at the beta stage of the game from what I've personally seen, but requires you to obviously be melee. This weapon is generally a must-have if you're playing ranger, namely because both ranged weapons now cost vigor, or your resource, for your basic attacks. The rapier also has a really nice kit that allows it to support the other weapon as the main source of damage, be the main source of damage itself, or be a healthy mix of both. The rapier, like the crossbow, does have both poison and crit synergies, but the crit synergies really steal the show with this weapon, offering some significant buffs. The single target damage is where the weapon really shines. It does have some AoE, but expect this to be more of a single target juicer than an AoE one. Rapier will all...
Man, yeah, I wish you would have shown max range bow gameplay, because, like, I feel like maybe that's where the bow is supposed to shine, is like at a long range or something. Because, like, looking at the rapier and crossbow, obviously these are extremely strong together, and I don't know why you would choose the bow unless you can actually have some, like, really long range snipes or something.
Also give you more of that in and out narrow hitbox experience. The special move itself is an actual short-range gap-closing poke attack that stuns on crit.
That's cool.
Extremely useful for PvP, by the way. You also have a parry attack and free dodges that come along with this weapon, giving you even more duelist vibes. Do expect pretty much every ranger to be using this, whether it's their main source of damage or just using it for utility. Things could certainly change in the full version of the game. At least in the beta, this weapon is a staple selection for all rangers.
I mean, I guess bow has the element thing going for it. You can choose your elements, and if there's, like, certain enemies that are weak to certain elements, that's That's probably a big plus.
The final class on our list is Berserker. Now, this class really surprised me. I'm going to be honest. I was really not interested in this class, especially when I saw that the chain blades just looked like butcher knives. But boy, was I completely wrong about this class.
Yeah, same. Honestly, same. I have, like, when I saw the Berserker and I saw the weapon choices, like, it didn't seem like it was going to be that great. But after seeing more gameplay, it's looking pretty sick.
This was the last class I tested, and after trying it, I'm actually conflicted now. I'm actually low-key considering maining it for launch. I was dead set on Assassin before, but damn.
Oh, shit.
Berserker
That's crazy.
is very fun. Starting with the chain blades. This weapon, well, first of all, it isn't just a butcher knife, but there are butcher knives that are attached to an extendable chain.
Oh my god, that is cool.
That God of War vibe. Also, I should probably tested this a bit more, but it did feel like I had a little bit more range because of this. Hands down, my favorite weapon for Berserker. Chain blades really does it all. The damage is solid. You have fantastic AoE, built-in CC in the form of chilling and freezing enemies, which works in PvP, by the way.
Wait, what's this Glacial Strike? Is this the right click? What's the right click?
Great utility with things like chain hook pulls, chain hook gap closers, CC brace, and on top of it all, you also have sustain in the form of heal.
Okay, here's the special move. Consume stamina to generate 40 rage and recover 5% HP. Consumes bloodthirst stacks to recover additional HP. So you can recover up to 35% HP every 25 seconds. God damn.
Via its special move, Surging Force. When you attack your enemies or use certain abilities, you get what's called Bloodthirst stacks. Bloodthirst can be stacked up to 5 times, and Surging Force essentially consumes the stacks and stamina to generate more resource, or rage as they call it for Berserker, and recovers your health proportionate to the amount of stacks, which, by the way, can be enhanced even further. And yes, the heal is pretty fat. From a PvE perspective, especially for a Souls-like game, double especially for solo adventurers in a Souls-like game, the ability to heal yourself is huge as a damage dealer, and personally, I love that the heals are enhanced the more you're on offense. So what are the downsides? Aside from, I believe, one ability that consumes a part of your HP on use, the biggest downside is the long cooldowns. There's some juiced out abilities, but the cooldowns, honestly, not only just for the chain blades, but for the Berserker as a whole, are just generally longer. Leading us to our next weapon.
Twin Axes.
Twin Axes. Twin Axes was the other weapon I used along with the chain blades, and this weapon is pretty clearly designed to pump damage in the form of a more Berserk-like style. What do I mean by this? Well, there's a lot of HP sacrificing and buffs to your damage when you're at low HP with Twin Axes. Take the special move, for example, unironically called Berserk. You get a big 20% damage and movement speed buff, but at the cost of draining your HP every second. Deactivating automatically, by the way, when you drop below 3% HP. In addition
3%.
to this,
Holy
you
shit.
also have more buffs and passives that increase your damage the lower HP you have. The coolest thing, and probably the most broken part of Twin Axes, is that the weapon also has a really, really strong cheat death that allows you to be immortal for 14 seconds.
14?
You can press the button before you die, of course. So I guess it's not technically a cheat death, but it prevents you from dying. This ability not only prevents you from dying during the buff, but also generates you more resource, or rage, again, as they call it for Berserker, super armor, and you also heal 20% of your HP back at the end of it. And if that's not enough, you even have a passive that recovers 5% HP when you land an attack when you're below 40% HP. So yeah, when you're in trouble, attack more and heal up is the motto of Twin Axes. Just non-stop Berserk style play. But yeah, other than that, Twin Axes also...
Jesus Christ, oh my god. This one looks super fun. Oh my god. I'm not typically a Berserker type of player, but oh my god, this looks good.
Also has access to...
Let me take that back, because in most Souls games, I play dual weapons. Like, I can't name the exact weapons because it's been so long since I played them, but in Dark Souls 3, I played dual weapons, and Dark Souls 2, I think I also played dual weapons. Dark Souls 1 was a two-hander, but yeah, 2 and 3 I played dual weapons, and I really enjoyed it. So I guess for Souls games, I am kind of a Berserker type of player.
Other usual offensive stuff, such as CCs, bleeds, defense debuffs. Overall, just a very solid weapon. Our final weapon to round out our video is the Battle Axe. So far, the Berserker has been very clearly a DPS-focused melee class. However, Battle Axe actually offers the Berserker a tank role, as it has a lot of tank-focused passives and skills in its kit, including taunts. I was originally under the impression that this would be the great sword of Berserkers, so to speak, but it is very clearly not. Blocking is a big part of Battle Axe, and the special move is, well, a very simple block. But blocking attacks, assuming you pick up the passives for it, can allow you to gain resource back, attack buffs, and even apply bleeds on the enemy. You'll also have access to a parry counterattack on top of that block. Aside from blocking, Battle Axe is an interesting tank because the kit actually promotes more of an offensive attack-focused playstyle, offering you a variety of buffs and benefits for simply attacking. You gain super armor when you attack. You reduce damage taken for attacking. You can even proc shields on yourself for attacking. It's tough to tell in the early game, but it certainly does seem like the Battle Axe is not only a weapon for tanks or off tanks, but it is able to dish out some good damage on its own as well. Offensively, like Greatsword, you'll definitely feel the weight and speed of the weapon. Longer animations, but very impactful when landing. Bigger hitboxes, big potential burst abilities, and good CC. A tank that can deal damage and control. Oh, and if you're a spin to win, Andy, that's in the Battle Axe's kit as well. Honestly, I plan on playing a lot more Battle Axe in the upcoming beta because on paper, it's got quite an interesting kit that I'd love to see.
Yeah, imagine using Battle Axe plus twin axes. You got your tanking and blocking, especially in PvP, and then you switch to your twin axes for your 14 seconds of immortality. It sounds like a really good tanky combination.
In action in the end game. All in all, it seems like there's a lot of potential with Battle Axe, despite being one of the lesser popular classes in the beta. Probably a lot of it stemming from the fact that, well, Berserkers in general have longer cooldowns, but I guess we'll just have to all wait and see once we can all reach the end game. That's going to be pretty much it for this one, guys. Let me know what classes you guys plan on playing or checking out, or which ones excite you the most in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to come follow me on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming Chrono non-stop. See you guys in the next video.
Yeah. Go click on Cannon's video. If you haven't subbed to Cannon already, please do so. Jesus, I don't even know. Like I said, the crossbow definitely looked pretty fun. I don't know. The Swordsman did not really get me there. Like at first I thought I'd liked Swordsman more than Berserker, but after watching this now, Berserker looks better, I think, as far as my playstyle goes. I don't know. I think the Greatsword kind of seemed out of place with the Swordsman kit somehow. Like, it just doesn't seem like it has a place in the game. I don't know. We didn't really see very much of it. But yeah, I definitely want to play Berserker more than Swordsman now. Do I want to play Ranger more than Berserker, or vice versa? I'm not sure. Like the crossbow, especially with that right-click dodge action, that looked really fun. Rapier looked fun too, and I would like to mess with the bow. So I hope I have time to play both. I'll definitely play Berserker and Ranger both. I think I'm probably gonna go with Berserker first, to be honest. Just because of like how the game is more Souls-like. Even though, man, but I do play ranged weapons in Souls too. Like in Elden Ring, I actually mained bow, and in Dark Souls 3, I actually used bow quite a bit. I even killed a few bosses in Dark Souls 3 with just the bow alone. So yeah, I do like bows and dual weapons in Souls games, and this is really looking kind of Souls-like to me. So Ah, man, I might have to flip a coin on it come Friday when this comes out. I hope you guys enjoyed. Again, thanks to Cannon for the video, and go subscribe to him, and we'll see you guys in Chrono Odyssey in a few days. Peace. And GG's.